And we have an even closer look at Trinidad now, where the government recently declared a state of emergency in response to escalating concerns about public safety and national security. Joining us live this evening is Kemuel Pascal. He is a journalist and citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. He'll be providing some first-hand insight. Kemuel, welcome and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Good evening and thank you. Good evening to Jamaica and all your viewers across the region.
Absolutely. Kemuel, for our viewers, of course, who may not be fully aware, could you briefly explain the conditions, the circumstances that would have led the government to declaring this state of emergency?
Sure. So first of all, I must state that most people did not expect this, even with the rising level of homicides that we have been seeing over the last couple of years here in Trinidad and Tobago. So the press release came from the from the Office of the Prime Minister's Communications Department this morning just before 8 a.m. and we were told that a state of emergency has been declared. Sometime after, maybe about 30 minutes after, we were then told that a press conference will be held at 10 a.m. where more of the details were basically fleshed out this morning. But it came on the backdrop based on what was discussed by the Acting Attorney General, Stuart Young. It came on the backdrop really of over the weekend there was a murder in front of a police station, like literally right in front of the police station. And there was reprisals, what was said to be reprisals, stemming from that murder last evening in Laventil, Trinidad. And in that incident, there were 6 persons who were shot. 5 persons died from the incident thus far, based on what we were told up to this morning. And so it is on the backdrop of that the government, based on their intelligence from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, decided that they would advise the president rather under Section 8 of the Constitution to institute a state of emergency.
Understood. But as someone living and working in the country, how will this activity, this action by the state, affect the daily lives of its people? Of course, we're aware that usually in Jamaica there's restriction of movement. I take it it's not different in Trinidad and Tobago. Curfews in place.
It's quite similar, but this one, for instance, is different from what we have seen where state of emergencies are concerned in the past. So, for instance, this one, there will be no curfew, which seems to have been, which is shocking to many people. And apart from that, it really and truly, what I believe the government is trying to do is really give the police and the military, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, more powers in this instance. But apart from roadblocks and stop and searches and the police getting more powers, there really will not be any restrictions to mass gatherings and stuff like that. We are obviously heading into the carnival season here in Trinidad, which will be at the start of March. And so I think it's on that basis the government tried their best to balance the economics with the reality of the current crime rate in the country to kind of, increase public safety on one hand, but also balance the economics, because obviously during carnival time, a lot of visitors come into the country. And so they didn't really want to, just immediately put a ban on everything. So that's kind of the reality of it. But other than the increased powers, more stop and searches by the police, the ability to arrest persons and hold them for 48 hours and be granted an extension if they so desire. There really haven't been thus far any drastic measures here in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, well, I have to go quickly, but looking ahead, Kemuel, in your view, what needs to happen next for Trinidad to move beyond this period? What specific actions would you like to see from the government?
Well, I believe that curfew should really be implemented because it would assist. In some way, obviously, as I said, you don't have a lot of time right now for me to flesh out why, but I think there needs to be a further clamping down on the illegal activities here in Trinidad and Tobago. And obviously, persons are, based on the reactions that we've gotten thus far, it's been a lot of mixed reactions, and persons are saying, well, why aren't you addressing the borders? Because that's where the firearms are coming through. And so I think that's where their focus needs to be at this point, because the firearms aren't just getting into the country. They are getting through our borders, both legal and illegal.
Well, thank you so much. That was journalist Kemuel Pascal from Trinidad and Tobago giving first-hand insight into his government's efforts against crime. Thank you so much again, Kemuel.